About a week ago, I bought the ZSA Voyager. It's a low-profile split keyboard that uses chalk switches. In this video, I wanted to show what you get in the box, as well as the first impressions I had of the keyboard. And yes, I really did spend $500 for this keyboard. I spent $400 for the keyboard itself, and then an extra $100 to pay for the tariffs / shipping fees. So that was a lot of money. Is it actually worth paying $500 for this? I'll talk about my thoughts at the end. But first, let's talk about what you actually get in the box. Inside the box, you get the keyboard itself. You get some extra keycaps. You get the key puller. You get a bunch of cords that actually connect the keyboard to your computer, and the keyboard carrying case. There are a few add-ons you can get with the keyboard, and I only chose to get these rubber dampening pads called the shocks. These are supposed to dampen the sound and make pressing the keys down a little bit easier. You also get these little metal feet to tilt the keyboard, and a couple of extra switches. So the keyboard itself is split, so you can arrange them as far or as close as you'd like. I actually prefer placing them a little bit further away than what most people would do. There's also LED lights in the keyboard itself, so you can customize how you want those to display. One thing about this keyboard is that each half is really small. For reference, I put my iPhone 16 Pro next to it, and it's pretty much like having two iPhones side by side. So the actual footprint of the keyboard itself is really small. A big part about the keyboard is you can customize where each key will go and what each press will do. And you can customize all this through ZSA's website. I really enjoy the interface. It's a big reason why I got the keyboard in the first place. Not just the keys, but the settings surrounding key presses as well. For example, you can customize how long a key needs to be pressed down for it to be considered held down, which matters a lot if you are doing a lot of custom things with the keyboard. I've never used chalk switches before. I've only ever used MX mechanical switches, the clicky ones, the more clicky ones. I didn't know what to expect. This keyboard I got with the red Pro linear switches. I think that's what they're called. And I want to say the actual pressing of the switch is a lot like what you'd expect just seeing them online. It's a little bit softer. It's not as forceful as the MX switches. Like, you don't hear like a big pop or anything. The one thing I didn't fully realize with getting these is it does feel a little bit scratchy when you press down some of these keys. Almost like the keys are a little bit dry. I know you can lube them. That's just, I haven't done that before. I don't really know what the process is. These are just what I kind of got out of the box. Maybe I'll do improvements in the future. We'll see. I'm not sure how else to describe it. Scratchy is the easiest way to describe it. It's not bad though. It's just something to note. Anyways, here's a sound test of the keyboard. So to go into a little bit more about my first impressions, I want to talk about exactly why I got this keyboard in the first place. First reason is I told myself that if I got a new job, I would reward myself with the keyboard, and that ended up happening. And so I did get this keyboard. You know, it's like an adult toy, the good kind. And the second reason is that my hands have been getting tired from typing, even though I had a split keyboard already. So I actually already have a split keyboard. It's the ergonomics Easy from ZSA. Actually, let me find it. So it's this bad boy right here. So the main reason I have a split keyboard in the first place is because I have mild RSI and carpal tunnel. I can't type too long at a computer or else it's very painful. And I've had the ergonomics Easy for almost 5 years now, and it's been working really well, but in recent days, I've just been getting more tired with it, like physically tired. Seeing the Voyager has a smaller footprint, so your fingers are moving less distance to type everything. And also that style of switches are different. They're the chalk switches. Kind of hoping the combination of the two would alleviate a lot of the pain that I was feeling. I had a hunch that the low profile actually might help a lot because I can type on a MacBook keyboard for a long time actually. And that's probably like the lowest profile you can get. I was excited to try it. And I have to say, after using the keyboard for a week, it has actually made my symptoms a little bit worse. I don't exactly know the reason why. I think it's just that when you use a new split keyboard, there's an adjustment period that your hands and your wrists and your arms need. I do feel when I use it, a different set of micro muscles are going off than my ergonomics Easy keyboard. So even though they're both split keyboards, I think just simply because of how the keys press down and the way that my hand is, you know, stretching is so slightly different, it's causing my hands to be a little bit more tired because it's not used to the exact movements that it's making. So I just kind of want to throw out there that if you're expecting to use this keyboard and everything is perfect off the bat, that is not my experience at all. That being said, I have enjoyed the typing experience, and I actually remember going through the same adjustment period with my other split keyboard. I'm going to continue to use this. I don't don't think it's anything to do with the keyboard itself. I think it's purely just your body needs a little bit of time to get used to it in very subtle ways. I will say, like, you know, it's a split keyboard and I'm used to split keyboards. For example, my shoulders feel no tension at all. And like I can kind of have like better posture when I type. It's really just like very minute parts of my hand and my wrist and my forearm. So I'm definitely going to keep the keyboard. I'm excited to keep using it. I know that the community has a lot of small improvements you can make, like different tenting kits and different switches to try. And so I'm excited to try all those in the future. Now, finally, is it worth the $500 that I ended up paying for? If all you care about is trying your first split keyboard, then honestly, no, it is not worth paying that much just to try a split keyboard. You can get other keyboards for half the price or even a quarter of the price. I would say 100 is probably the cheapest I've ever seen a split keyboard. You can also get a bunch of used ones. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a little bit more worth it for me because I actually trust ZSA as a brand. I've used their other keyboard in the past, and so I know what the interface is like for switching the keys and adjusting everything. I can also say after using this keyboard and having the other keyboard, I know that their support team is very active. I know that they actually care as a brand about the product. So if you run into any issues, they're very responsive and they help you out with that. I think for a lot of these other split keyboards you can get from these other companies, a lot of it is very self-run. They don't have a very mature team around it, which is totally okay. You know, a lot of the mechanical keyboard space is very small. It's very indie. It's very, you know, they're very hacky. Basically, some of these more niche technologies, I enjoy buying from a brand that's more reliable, especially because in keyboards, electronics, a lot can go wrong. There's, you know, return periods and their support is happy to help out with any issues that you face. I'm not trying to glaze them or anything. It's just, it helps to know if I run into issues, there's already a decently sized community and a brand to help out with any issues that I have. Anyways, that's my first impressions of the keyboard. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video if I do a bunch of improvements or talk about how I feel about the keyboard, you know, 90 days, a year from now. But yeah, I think the unboxing experience was very pleasant. I am enjoying using the keyboard. Just want to give a little bit of a heads up to anybody who wants to buy the keyboard right now. You do have to deal with the tariffs and that there might be a little bit of a ramp up period to get used to the board itself. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.